Zlurpcast!
KwikHitz! We've trademarked the phrase. I believe the hashtag KwikHitz is ours. It's unique. We own it. We're the first. So when you see KwikHitz, share it to all your social mediums, because that's what this episode is. Number 3 in this one, we've got Valdric in the flannel. Xtreme is elite. Biran tries to pretend like he's a Euro trash board gamer, but you're not.
KwikHitz with a Z for our Canadian listeners.
Z, yeah. Although this episode, you might be a Euro trash board gamer. Why is it Euro style and Ameritrash, by the way? Why is it reversed?
I think it's Ameritrash because Americans care about theming and the cool looking miniature.
No, I know, but why are we trash?
Because board gamers are your average NPR listeners who hate America and Americans.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
I'm sorry, Brady. You're not a board gamer. You're not a board gamer.
But you hit me on some of those other descriptives.
I would say that on this show, Xtreme is a board gamer, B-O-R-E. On this show, he for sure is. So you can check out the other ones. I'm going to do one of these. Let's all do one of these. Yes. And it's all up there. Look, 1 and 2. 1 and 2, both up there. This is number 3. We're covering one game each, not a full show about any one game. As you know from our previous videos, we mainly cover tabletop miniatures game for the most part. Or if not, another game that is enough to, quote, get into. But there's a lot of games out there. And so why not give a 10, 15 minutes, a presentation of sorts, and talk about a little Q&A. People can poke fun a bit. I know Xtreme brought up a boating game for his love of boats. Mike plays games about trains. So, and on the train, it's kind of fun to like be in the setting. So I love games like that. You know, I play games on the toilet games about toilets. Who wants to kick this one off with the first game?
I'll go.
Okay, Biran.
My game. Oh, and you won't even
tell
see it.
He grunted, just turning a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Is Kingdom Death Monster.
Yeah. Should we put the TVMA warning?
Yeah, it is. There might be some visual aids here that are going to get us demonetized if we had enough subscribers to be monetized.
Man, I got visual aids in the 80s. It sucked.
I got digital aids, but I use ePrep, so I'm good now.
There you go.
It is, how to describe it? It's
before we start, this could have been an episode.
Yeah,
I mean, for all intents and purposes, not intensive purposes. This could have been an episode. If we all played and all got into it, I bet it would have.
This is a game you can get into.
It's a full-on ton of miniatures, a lot dungeon crawl, essentially.
Dungeon crawl and sort of city/village simulator.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do. This could very well be, and somebody's watching this thinking it's almost like getting pushed down to a KwikHitz level. And KwikHitz is not an insult, by the way. If your game is like they just did it on a fucking KwikHitz, like it's fuck out of here. It's not that.
Rivet Wars probably should have been a KwikHitz, but we did a full episode.
Well, we did it for you, Xtreme. As Rikishi said, I did it for The Rock. We did it for Xtreme. That's the only reason. You're right. It should have been a KwikHitz. I think you might have got in like someone getting in early on something. Like you got in before KwikHitz became a real thing. I'm going to add it to the list. I keep the list. Apparently, no one knew they had write access from previous episodes. We learned that. Now we have rules. And you throw out Rivet Wars now, we might say KwikHitz 4, but you got in, and I hope you are proud of that. It probably wouldn't happen again. And so now Biran, one of his favorite games, has now been relegated to KwikHitz.
Relegated, that is also a soccer term that I learned watching Ted Lasso.
That's good. Yeah.
That's
heard
when
good
you're in the
things-
Premier League and you suck so bad they demote you.
Oh,
Like the two
I'm a
worst
big-
teams get demoted and the two best teams get promoted.
yeah. Well, and even in American soccer, not football, but American soccer, there's similar things of sharing players, and you don't want to be too
Man,
good.
that's so weird.
Yeah, like here in Colorado Springs, we have a minor league team that's a feeder for the I forgot the name offhand, whatever the pro team is, and they've got like they'll take players, a couple good ones, and it's like you don't want to be too good because then you'll get taken away.
Yeah,
But be good enough to help your team win. It's such a weird concept.
that's why it's not really a sport.
There you go.
Um,
Kingdom Death is a game one would get into though. So give me kind of the basics of the game.
well, the elevator pitch of the game, and I think I read this. I didn't come up with this myself. Is a bespoke horror game. Bespoke means it's the Latin word "be" before spoke means expensive.
I think an elevator pitch, if we're going to use these terms, it's longer than what you did.
Yeah,
Most people use it to say, what I want to say is too long, give me the elevator pitch, but you gave one sentence.
Yeah.
And now you're explaining what the words in the sentence mean.
yeah. And at this point, the door had opened and they left.
I find it hard to believe that online someone said the elevator pitch to this game is a bespoke horror game. Here's what bespoke means.
Right? They didn't say that. I added that as.
Oh,
my
you're
answer.
adding that. Okay.
Right. They would say it's a bespoke horror game.
Okay.
I don't really even necessarily see it as a horror game. The setting is kind of a, I would say, H.P. Lovecraftian sort of horror, more psychological.
That is a genre of horror, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's both. You basically, your fights are only against the boss monsters, and then the rest of it is kind of city building and building up your character. So the game was like kickstarted for like, I think $300, and if you got it then, that's what you paid for it when it came out, but to buy it now it's $400, I think.
This was one of those where it probably was $3 million on Kickstarter, right?
Oh yeah, it just made so much money and continues to make money. Like I've never been to Gen Con when, since it's been to Indy, but I guess the booth for him is just insane the entire time.
The line literally wraps around like 3 different aisles, and it annoys the fuck out of me because it blocks. You can't get to those booths because all these people are waiting in line.
Mike's trying to buy weird shaped dice, and these assholes.
Exactly.
Yes. But I mean, you saw the size of the box. And one of the other good things about it, it's cards, miniatures, dice. It comes with an organization system already built into the box, which I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, that's good.
High quality linenized cards. Custom dice tokens.
The company that made this, did they do anything before?
I don't think so. I think they initially started out maybe just as miniatures.
But I mean, what a ballsy choice for your
first one to make something this big. Yeah.
Tell us if I'm wrong on this, because I don't know. But if this is indeed their first real game, like fuck, like it worked. Glad it worked out, but this could have been a huge fail.
Yes.
From the get go. So they must have
both
done
resin
the
and
research.
hard plastic kits.
Oh, hard plastic.
So basically you start out naked with a piece of rock in your hand, and that's your only equipment. And your first encounter is with a lion, an evil demonic lion. Painted by me.
Because you painted it?
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you survive that, which a lot of people don't, then you could basically, when you encounter things, you could chop parts off the animal. Anyone that's played for a video game reference, the Monster Hunter series of games, where you're taking pieces off the creature and you use those pieces to craft new armor kits, new weapons, and then the next boss is even harder, and you could repeatedly farm the boss to get parts. And the gimmick that I like is the box comes with a giant pile of sprues, and you could actually WYSIWYG every piece of equipment you craft off these monsters you beat.
Nice.
So you could go hog wild on that, because when you start, it comes with these miniatures, which are just naked survivors.
Yeah.
Which all contrast paint, by the way.
Do you think anybody they fail at the first mission? They're like, I'm done.
I think I played the first hunt and did the first city part and then tried the hunt again. I just go because they're like one roll of die. Oh, nope, you're dead. So I just think, oh, I rolled a die, I'm dead. We're going to pretend that didn't happen.
Well, this is
and
like,
move on.
does this game feel like a video game to you?
It does. It feels like a roguelike is what they call it, where you could, because so even if you survive the line, but you barely get through, you can hunt him again with your new equipment and it gets easier. And then you could do more tactics to, I want to chop his dick off this time, which you can do in the game.
Yeah, you can chop dicks off in the game?
Yes. The lion's dick specifically, and use it to craft weapons and armor. The other, so you, and then, you know, the next level monster would be this creepy, I've just primed it, creepy antelope guy, and it gets up to just crazy dick demons and stuff. So it's got a very kind of erotic horror element to it. I think I have as an example. So I made this guy out of some of the lion parts. So he actually mimics what I got out of the hunt. So you could go crazy and make like 30 guys for just one run through of the game.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of expansions.
Each version as you build up, you could, you know, role play.
Or if you don't want to do that, you could just use unpainted one miniature and go through the whole game that way too. But I like the options there. But they also make these, they call them pinup series, which aren't necessarily in the game, but it's of the style of the game, which is thick ladies with big booties in very sexy outfits, and just use those as quote unquote playing pieces. Like, here's my favorite one. Let's see if this will show up. This is, she has a demonic breast pump. And this is a unique one where it's a pinup that actually has a stat card in the game for what the demonic breast pump does. And I also got this cheesecake one that I had one Brian Mitchell Xtreme paint.
Nice.
So the models are really, really good. And they have sports themed ones. There's hockey sass. And they do have male cupcake cheesecake models, but that's not for me.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm more attracted to females than males, and I want to have sex with my models.
Okay. I've heard you call yourself straight as fuck.
And and of course, like any of these games, so this is, it's grid based.
Okay, nice.
And it comes with cardboard tokens for like terrain and stuff, but of course third parties have come out and made resin pieces, so you can make this a really striking looking game as well if you want. You would think they would already have it pretty striking looking with it being $400, but
is this one of the, a lot of times though, I've noticed while we always joke that we like always the 3D terrain, many times it's practical.
It gets in the way
to stand on things
right
for a reason.
So I've put, and it's very easily solo playable for the extremes out there. And in fact, that's the only way I've played it so far. And I survived by cheating my balls off and ignoring really bad rolls.
This is a game that I would say, if you weren't into it, if you didn't buy it, you just knew about it, and you saw other people playing it, you would not want to join those people.
It could be a lot of weirdos, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but a lot of times things are cool, but also you don't want to partake with other people. Does this have that vibe of? There is
sort of a weird sexual nature to a lot of the events and things you're doing. So I think it's more so people wouldn't want to play with me if they saw me.
You want to play the game and make jokes, but another group might have an orgy afterwards.
Right. And usually your typical Kingdom Death player, you don't want to be in that orgy.
Why?
Well, it would be like, remember that show on HBO, Real Sex?
Yeah.
And they would have like nudist colonies and you'd be like, ah.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
I usually would watch just to get the street interviews.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's what you think? And then they fight.
Yes.
So I think it sounds like a cool concept. When you play, is this kind of like a lifetime game where you're just leveling up kind of forever?
You can. There is a season or a year time limit, like they call them lantern years, but time is fuzzy there. But I mean, I think you could play it in perpetuity, but if you manage to survive long enough, everything will eventually become trivial for your character, I would think. But I don't know. I haven't even looked at the stats because like the rule book is a nice hardcover, like landscape format book, and it's got a story built in. So they say don't read ahead, just read to where it says page 1, start here. Don't flip over till you finish this event.
Well, you're
So
playing.
I've tried not to spoil it.
You're playing solo. Is this a game that would need a DM if there was a group playing it?
It's all AI deck driven for the monster.
Okay.
And the cards are like, so you basically have your first phase is a hunt, which is actually out of phase for what you would do. So after the hunt, you know, you go and you do your village phase where you can upgrade your stuff. You could build new things in your village that will help you along the way. And then on another hunt, and there's steps for that, like, oh, you fell in a hole, this happens. Boom, then you're hunting, you're fighting another boss monster. So
okay.
It takes a lot of space, though. I wouldn't play this anything less than a 4x4.
Oh, like actually playing space, not just storage.
Yeah, because you have a character sheet, but then you have equipment cards. Like each piece of equipment you would craft is its own card, and you put it on where he would be on your body. So you need, like, especially the longer you play, you're going to need bigger and bigger character cards.
Yeah. Everything you described sounds very video game like, where they're you're adding stuff to your character and it's going on different spots.
Yeah, like the old paper doll model of an RPG character.
Right.
Yes, like a Diablo.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But you're usually fighting just one big monster each time you fight.
I thought you don't have just like scrubs. You're
no.
Again? Okay.
Those, any kind of like scrub combat would be in your hunt phase, and it'd just be in a card saying this happened, roll this, and you got 2 points of insanity, which is bad and good because you can use insanity to like save yourself a wound and things like that.
So you went all in on this, enjoy the game, enjoy the theme. You have a very good local gaming group. Why haven't you pushed this on your friends?
I'm not sure who in our group would be receptive. I know Tony, our good friend Tony, actually plays it and owns the game. And you know how thrifty Tony is.
Really? I'm surprised.
But he funded it by only keeping the core stuff and selling all the miniatures. Like, because the huge piles of sprues you get that have all like, here's all the miniatures with all the dicks you cut off the lion. Here's the miniatures with the dicks you cut off the antelope. He sold all that off and just kept the core beginning characters. Because
basically just to play like a one-off board game.
Right. Or you could still, I mean, there's nothing that says you have to use the WYSIWYG. So you just ignore that. But I think Tony would play. I think it might be worth doing because I bet Mike will play anything.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet Hoagie would like it because this is a theme that tells me it's something Hoagie would like.
I just think
you know Hoagie?
I don't know. No.
Oh, he's our token Brit.
I would like to meet him.
Yeah.
Does he like hoagies?
I don't know. He won't tell me his true name because I think I'd give me power over him.
Well, demons as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to learn the true name.
I think we could play this.
I just wonder because you've talked about it several times, and it almost seems like your secret kind of game that you like to play by yourself, which is okay.
Like it's a little bit shameful because of the TNA quotient.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's like playing a computer game on your own. But if you think it could be fun with real people playing together, I'm just surprised you haven't thrown it in the mix.
Yeah.
Would Todd let us play it?
There's nothing explicit if you just look at it when you pass by.
Okay.
So yeah.
So the breast.
I've actually seen people play it at the store.
Wait, but there's a bit on a sprue with a lion's penis.
No. When you craft from the penis, it no longer looks like a penis.
Oh well, I'm out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the point?
Why can't he have a whip with a dong on it?
I just thought you get like throwing stars. I would have a like a sex ninja just throwing lion dicks.
So the other funny thing is they have all these expansions, and that's where they get a little more risque with the models. There's a big, like almost unclean one size model of a shark head that his head's a penis, and he has tentacles coming off him that are also penises.
Yeah.
So that Todd might go, what? But yeah, I think it was Janelle and the other guy who were playing it.
Oh yeah.
Is this a game that stores sell or no?
No, I think it's just because it's $400. People are going to go, what? and it's hard to stock because he runs out of stock all the time. Like,
Do you think part of the allure that you've had is because it's this
Rare gem?
non-riff game?
yes, I'm shallow that way. It's like, ooh,
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like being into anything that's not as popular, whatever the reason is. In this case,
it is very, it is a very exclusive. Like, I only play bespoke horror. But yeah, I think I would like to try it out in rotation, especially if we get Tony buying, because he knows the rules already better than anyone. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But
If
like I
there-
said, I got the first set of miniatures painted and the monster painted, so it's like we'd be playing fully painted on day one, which is always nice.
And then the expansions aren't just characters, but they're missions too.
They're a whole year worth of missions, the hunt for these epic characters.
Okay.
And all new equipment cards and a whole new sprue of miniatures, so you could add like the new, I got the armor from this demon bug and I got a shoulder piece.
Do you have to play them in order because you're going to be 2 or less powerful than
They have recommendations on what lantern year you would tackle the monsters in.
Okay.
But there is a bevy of resources out there for people to say, here's the best order to play in.
What when people are playing it, is it popular with we each play a character, or is it more you're doing solo? Like, what's the kind of format that you
I think
see?
the preferred is each person plays their own character because there's so much customization.
Okay.
And then you have to say, we have 3 lion dicks. Who's going to get them
Can you merge them all?
into a Voltron dick?
Yeah, Voltron deck.
I hope so. Maybe that's coming. The miniature, like, I would recommend if you ever watch, is it Shoshi? Mike, the painting, local really good painter.
Yeah.
Shoshi Bauer, yeah. She does a lot of painting videos, painting Kingdom Death stuff. She's a huge fan of that. And she does amazing work, and she has a lot of good Kingdom Death stuff that she showed off.
Yeah, that's how I know about the pinups, because she was talking about, I got my pinups today, and I was like,
Yeah, she likes the naughty ones the best. It's kind of funny. And I guess she kind of knows the guy a little bit who created the game, and I guess he's a big weeaboo into the anime. So
Is this a game that lets players really feel sex positive about everything?
probably they have, in their Twitter bio all their preferences.
Is there any characters that look like you, Biran?
All the men are incredibly fit.
Okay, so no.
Maybe some of the monsters.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Maybe like an Etten or something.
Yeah.
One,
And Etten with both heads put together. So
well, yeah, it was one of the two. If we cut your head in half.
Yeah.
Xtreme, Mike, have you guys ever had the urge to want to get into this game?
no, because Biran already has. So
He doesn't have to.
for me to do it because he's got everything. And
It's like a boat. You want your friend to own
Mike,
the boat.
that's
You don't want to have
never
a boat.
stopped you before, though. To be fair, other people having stuff has never stopped you from getting the same stuff.
True, but for this one, yeah, I'll let him be the supplier.
Xtreme.
No, it is the price kept me away for a solo game. It was just way too expensive for me to imagine something that I would try and play by myself that would realistically just collect dust.
I will say I did buy it after taking an Ambien, and that's when I make my best decisions.
Oh yeah.
But you've also, I mean, have you kind of doubled down on it? You're not regretting this purchase.
No, I bought a bunch of extra models.
Right, exactly. So you
yeah.
you may have bought it sort of as a goof, but
The $400 is what it took to push me over the edge, but now it's like $30. And then
you've already made the investments.
and then I say, Brian, will you paint this? And he'll say, yeah, but it's going to take 6 years. I said, all right, here you go.
Which Brian? 'Cause the one I know doesn't paint anymore.
He's another Brian in Indiana.
Oh, okay, cool. Just checking. If this were a game that had a full episode, what rating would you give it?
This is one where it's almost too early to tell. Like, my idea of how it will play out would be very high, but I don't know. I've only played the first mission, so I'd probably give it a 3.5.
Okay, so you're barely into, because from what I've read, it's that you can build up for a long time. So you're barely in you're maybe a shirt and shoes on the naked body.
Right. I killed enough on the line to make a new chess piece.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think like people complain, they don't complain, they brag about I survived my first one after having failed the first 3 times. I'm like, I would just say fuck it, we beat the lion, moving on, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, it's like the old days hitting the reset button before it
Yeah.
saves. You know, it's
Or we use a quick save before something bad is about to happen and go, oh fuck, no, I gotta go back.
right, exactly. Know that if this doesn't work out, we got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like a fun game. Seems like a lot. Like, I think it would be hard to get it in a rotation if you play a lot of games like we do for the most part. But
Yeah,
I think,
it's sort of like D&D in that way, where you want to, it's the game you're going to play for a long time.
right. It seems like you got to really probably say, you know, hey, I'm moving, I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff, but I'm going to keep Kingdom Death because I really want to go all in because there's so much stuff to do in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of games have that to it, which is good, but also can be bad because knowing that you've had it for this long, you like it a lot, you talk about it a lot, yet you've only played a little bit just because of, I mean, time and people and other games.
It also has one of the things I like about games like this where the built-in organizer has room for expansions.
Nice.
Because people do go nuts with those, like, sit inside the box organizers that are made out of the delicious smelling wood for this. But you don't really need it. It comes with a decent one already.
That's trying to put all the MDF guys out of business there.
Yeah.
Or Battle Foam making an insert for them.
Yeah. So it's always like, I got a Battle Foam that fits the entire thing in the box in foam. I go, what if they release expansions?
Right, exactly. Happens all the time. It's always fits everything. It's like you bought 3 extra guys. Well, they're just on the shelf.
Yeah. They're carried in a shoebox alongside it to the game store.
And they're probably like more valuable, better painted. But
Yep.
yeah, those are the 3 ways because they didn't make it in the main game. It
Yep.
always happens with those kind of things. Very cool. Anything else people need to know about Kingdom Death?
No. If you find someone who owns it, I wouldn't go out and buy it. I'd get someone else to do that for you and then play it to see if you like it.
Okay.
It is a big ask to buy in.
Yeah. I could see it being like the after hours at a game store in the back room.
Yeah.
Like almost like you said, like a D&D group that now has moved on to more miniature based things.
Yeah.
I can see that. All right. Good to know. Good coverage. I think they'll appreciate it. Make sure to let the creator know.
Yeah. Hey, 30 people watch me talk about your game.
Oh, it's going to be more than 30.
Yeah. All the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be over 37.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next with a game?
I'll go next.
Oh,
okay.
No. Xtreme. Anytime there's a tie in talking, ties go to Xtreme.
Xtreme. All right.
That's a new rule.
All right. So I have a game that I picked out because it's topical for what's going on currently. Baseball season has just started.
Oh, I thought it was pandemic.
Biran's face. He thought it was going to be like some fucking like
Social justice, communism shit.
political outrage game of some sort.
So I have
baseball.
Oh, that game looks dry as a desert. Is it?
It is.
It is. All right, so it is, but that's why I wanted to pick it to talk about it, because it doesn't have to be. So on the box, it advertises 3 games in one. I don't know what the third game is, but I know it's 2 of
Softball.
them. So one of them is super deep statistical simulation of baseball. I've only played it a few times. I've played this game a lot when I was a kid and as an adult by myself a little bit. But the base game is super simple. It is all stat based. So this is like a hitter's card. This is a Aramis Ramirez from 2007. So when you go up to the plate, it's super simple. There's 1, 2, and 3 are on the hitter's card, 4, 5, and 6 are on the pitcher's card. So you roll what column, and then it's 2d6 for going down the column and figuring out what happens there. And some of the options are, like this one is, you pick up a d20, and on a 1, it's a home run. On 2 through 20, it's a double. So then it's split even further. But all the stats are based on the last year that they played. So they have that year's pretty basic stats, so old stats, batting average, home runs, when people cared about the Triple Crown stats.
There's no sabermetrics going on in there?
Not yet. I'm actually curious because I haven't bought like one of the really new ones. I'm wondering if they started working those things in. But this was kind of like because it broke it down. Like your home run rate was factored into how often that appeared on the card, and so it's pretty cool. So that's the side of the card that I always used. On the back side of the card is even more detailed. It's split up into whether you're facing a right-handed pitcher, left-handed pitcher, and it goes deeper into actually breaking down the simulation.
What do you got to roll for a balk?
Yeah, actually, there's this lovely chart of options you have. You can sacrifice and do squeeze plays. You can steal. You can set up a hit and run.
Does that come with a Scantron machine to slide it into?
No, you would think. But I love that it's all based on like that year's stats, and I love that they keep selling the old ones. So like I have the 1989 Cubs team because that was one of my favorite teams. And I got the 87 Cubs team because I wanted the Andre Dawson card from 87 as his awesome 87 season. So he's freaking hitting bombs like crazy.
Now, do you mix them up? Can you make your own like best Cubs of all time team and play with that?
You absolutely can. And I have, and then I bought the Hall of Fame pack, which is on nicer quality cards. And the Hall of Fame stats are actually based on their full career, which is interesting, rather than just one current season. But I built like my ultimate Cubs team, had them go against a Hall of Fame team.
Is David Kingman on that team?
No.
Yeah, Dave Kingman would have a very high home run and high
strikeout,
but
yeah,
no singles.
So the Sammy Sosa cards were basically the same thing. Like he got up, you knew you were either hitting a home run or striking out. So let's go. What is it?
Is there any add-ons for cork bets or no?
There is not. One of the perks of this game too, I think this was in all of the games after a certain period, or maybe I don't think I ordered
steroids in a box.
No. So you don't need this playing map, but it's sort of nice to kind of keep your meeples to see where your runners are on base and how many outs there are. But it's Wrigley Field.
Oh, nice.
I may have ordered it separately, but I don't think I did. I'm not sure.
Is there a neoprene version?
That is the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Is the field, or did you buy a Wrigley Field one?
I don't remember. I think that's just the one that comes in it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I bought it because I have another one in here too. I don't know. I bought a lot of crap for this game. But this was the first game that I ever used a D20 on, so that was kind of cool too. I don't know. I really like this. It doesn't have to be as deep and as horrible as it initially sounds if you just play the simple, light beginner version of it. But there is the option to get really into it. You have injuries and different strategies you can set up before the game, and weather effects, and
I think
can go really deep.
When you combine sports themes in games, it lets you get to cut yourself some slack on how nerdy it really is. I think because it's baseball, it's like when people talk about fantasy sports and how like jocks will play that kind of thing. You're doing, like, if this was a war game of some sort, it would be the dorkiest thing of all time. Now it's just kind of dorky because it's baseball. And because you actually could we always joke about the guy at work scenario. And there's a chance that normies could play this. This could be like the, guys drinking beer playing this game because it's baseball. You get away with how statsy it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, initially, if you just like put it on the table and let them look at it, there's no way in hell they're going to play it. But if you actually like approach it and be like, hey, look, it's not as bad as it looks. I know there's numbers everywhere, but this is actually pretty simple. Which the base game is pretty simple, and that's really all you need to play. But I do know this game is still, they made other sports, Stratomatic other sports, but I think baseball was always like their core product because it's just more stats driven. And it's still pretty popular. In the late 90s, I think there was a CD-ROM version of it, which, I don't know, it never really appealed to me. Like, I don't know, I felt like if I was playing on the computer, I should just play like a full video game.
You just use Excel at that point.
Yeah.
This came out in the 80s, right?
Later than that, I think it was like 60s, 70s.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was around in the 70s because I remember a couple of movies they were talking about it, kids playing it.
I don't know.
1961.
What's that?
1961.
Wow, that's a good year. I believe Roger Maris also hit 61 in 61, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. With an asterisk.
I was there. It was a good year for me too. I remember in the 80s playing a game that was nowhere near as complex, but I played, it was called Head-On Baseball. And it was, you had like a decoder, you put the thing in and it showed up where in the strike zone you're pitching to. But the best part about it was there's a moment where it says hit play and it came with an audio cassette. And it was like
play-by-play stuff.
And it's like that was the like VCR game soon came after that, Clue and whatnot. But,
so was the decoder like with the Transformers figures where you could see?
Yeah. It was all in red, like blurry red. You put it in to see, you had to guess the strike zone and that kind of thing. It was all made up players. It wasn't anything real stats, but I think that was very kid friendly. This sounds like, I know you played it as a kid, but this is not really a game that is for kids, right?
I mean, I don't know what the age they recommend on it, but I think it could be, as long as, now it says 11 to adult, but I was playing it younger than that.
Well, you were
as long as you have someone.
You were an old kid.
You're a precocious old soul.
Yeah. You acted old. You like not Benjamin Button style, but you acted old. It's kind of like when you watch like the American Pie movies, why Natasha Lyonne acts like a 43-year-old woman at 16. It's like something's off. Arn Anderson at 25 looked like he's 75, and now he looks like he's 50, but he's actually
the reverse Ralph Macchio.
You had a little, yeah, right. You had a little bit of that. A kid in 61, wiser than a kid in 91. And
they probably killed someone in the war.
Right, and much wiser than a kid in 2021 is my point.
And the kid in 61 didn't have the same options as the kid today either. Like a kid today would be like, why don't we just play the show on Xbox or the PlayStation? Like, it's so much better. And like the most recent version of that, I can't stand because there's too much of it going on for me. But this game, I don't know. I think this game's awesome. Another thing that's gonna be hard is finding kids that love baseball enough to actually get into it too. Because that's dying breed of kids.
Well,
but
I
think all sports with the youth is not doing nearly as well.
I saw a guy the other day. It was on Etsy. He built like a wooden baseball field, and he's like, "Oh, and I have a game to go with it." And I look, I'm like, "What's the game?" It's just whatever you roll on 2d6 are different things.
Like, I got a double.
Move a peg around. Like those do exist, and they look cool. And I guess that would be a cool coffee table thing to throw out there. But that's not really a game. This is a game to be played and to actually put some thought into, right?
Yeah, this game. I mean, I think that's one of the things. Once I started playing it, and that's what stuck with me was that this is based on real stuff. Like they took the time to actually do all the percentages and how often things are supposed to happen or happened that last season for those players. And you can see this player that was good last year. This is exactly how good he was. And he's going to play that way on my team.
Do you think any major league teams would ever consult like world champions of this game for some advice?
Probably not. No, because I mean,
just roll one on that D20 and you're golden.
Like this kid's been winning. Are there like Stratomatic tournaments at Gen Con and shit, or no?
I don't know if there are at Gen Con. I know there were like groups for a while that would get together and play, which was kind of weird too. I think its height of popularity is probably during the same time as rotisserie baseball was really big. So there were guys that were like traveling to play Strat-o-Matic, and I don't know. I guess
I will tell you on the fantasy note, most people they like head to head even in baseball, whereas I actually prefer rotisserie style, both chicken and baseball, because you are forced to build a well-balanced team, whereas you could win games just like in fantasy football. So I always like the idea of, no, I know that guy hits a lot of home runs, but he's going to ruin my team's average.
But I don't know. My grandfather played rotisserie baseball when it was still by mail, and I just remember being so fascinated by that. It was like the coolest thing ever. But now that it's on the computer, whatever. It's lost some of the allure when you just get all your stuff.
You want to hear something extra nerdy? In high school, I wrote a computer program in BASIC that did all fantasy football stats.
Nice.
I should have been, talking to girls, but I did.
I wrote a program that 2 people could race rocket ships up the screen.
Oh, nice.
My brother wrote one that had a bong with smoke coming out of it.
The Thompsons were the kids you kept the other kids away from. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
My brother was more of a delinquent than I was. So
Look at you, soccer jersey.
Yeah.
Making the family proud.
I only do it because I like the Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, you buy it based on the sponsor.
Yeah.
So, all right, Xtreme. I think that's a cool game. If you had the magical question that I always give to you, is the Snap Your Fingers gaming group. Is this what you bust out, or is this an Xtreme alone time game?
It plays really well alone. It's not solo, but you could play both sides very easily. Basically, you construct the lineups and you just go through this hitter versus pitcher. There's not a whole lot because I don't play the advanced version where I'm like setting fielders in different places and stuff.
So does defensive plays come into it, or is it just pitching and batting?
It does if you play the advanced version,
Okay.
then defensive play comes in, like everything. It's crazy. But would I break it out and play with other people if they were interested in baseball and I had it handy? Absolutely. Because I think the basic version is very easy to get into and it's fun to play. It's not like luck
Anyone who's
based.
miniatures in this game?
I mean, I guess you could, but really all you need is 3 base runners. So
No,
meeples
you want a
work
whole
fine.
team. You got a whole team. You get the whole team.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Yeah,
saying,
they had those. They had that sort of click version of baseball. You could get those guys.
Yeah, I don't see a need.
Don't you want to bring hobby into it?
Yeah, Xtreme.
Not this game, no. I mean, this is just all dice and cards and charts. So
You don't want Andre Dawson. What about old starting lineup figures? Using those in this game.
The 3 1/4 inch size ones. Yeah.
Those are
well,
great.
the problem with that is so many of them have bats in their hands, so then they're standing on second base with their bat still. And it's
That's
kinda
way baseball would be way more fun if there's a guy on second base with a bat.
If you want to get kids into games, I mean, more violence would help. Yeah. All right, very cool, Xtreme. What would you give this game if this was a full episode?
If it was a full episode, it would be kind of weird for it to be a full episode, but I would give it a 4.
Okay. Room for improvement.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely dated as like a very stat chart based game, but it works.
What's great about that score is if we looked at the overall score that you would give pen and paper based sports stats games, it would also be a 4.
Maybe.
Because that's probably the only one.
Yeah. So far.
That's the joke. Okay. Very nice. Mike, do you want to go then?
Sure. Mine is a true quick hit. It's a board game called Break the Safe.
Safe.
Yes. All right. So what it is, you are a family of 4 that are safe robbers. Okay. You got dad, you got mom, and the 2 kids.
Look at that family, by the way.
Yeah,
Nazi poster family right there.
exactly. Now this is not a game you get into. This is a game that you play before the rest of the people show up. But it's a game for 4 people. And I got to show you the box here. So you take the board out and the box.
Awesome.
All that wasted space because they want to keep the box board game size. It could be the board folds up like this, so it could be this big.
Is that the family?
Yes. Yes.
Why aren't they painted?
Yeah. So these are the little pieces.
And Mike, before we get into it, have you ever been the mom?
Which one's the mom?
Yeah, pretend you don't know.
I don't want to sign it.
I honestly don't. I think the purple one's the mom. So yeah.
You should paint them up, Mike.
You'd be a good mom in that game. I don't even know the game.
Okay. The goal of the game is you start out. What you need to do is you start off here. This is the safe. Okay. Now, what makes this game fun is it is timed. The safe. This is the safe thing right here. There's a timer on it, and once you hit, and you got to. There's no way to stop this. So
you can throw it against a wall.
Well, yeah. But once you hit,
that works for any game, by the way.
Once you hit start, you have 30 minutes to either beat the game or you lose.
Oh, no piss breaks?
There's no piss breaks. There's none at all.
Bring your diapers.
So this is what makes the game fun. It sounds pretty basic. It sounds kind of stupid, but the fact that it is timed and the timer every minute bings.
I love timer games. I really because in any format, because it cuts out the bullshit.
Yeah.
Two,
Oh yeah.
it gets people interacting. It gets people frustrated and mad, and it's just it adds such a huge element to every game.
You big Perfection fan?
A long time ago, sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfection was great. So,
It
anyways,
caused anxiety disorder.
what the basic plan is, I can see if we can get the board. So I'm gonna do the board here real quick. This is the board, and what you're doing is there's all these different rooms, okay? And in each room, there is ultimately what you're trying to do is visit all the rooms and try to find the 4 keys necessary to unlock the safe in 30 minutes or less. When you go to the rooms, each room, let me lift this up real quick, has you got these, again, pieces are very low quality here. There's a booby trap.
Oh, it says booby trap.
It says booby trap on it. So you have it face down, and then there's a token underneath it. So when you get in the room, you flip it up, and this is the booby trap that says 500-pound weight. Now, you also have a supply of these tools, and each tool can disarm 1 booby trap. But when you shuffle the cards, this is a community game, so everyone's working together because you're a family. Each booby trap, each player has tools to disarm certain booby traps. So if you get there and you got the booby trap, this one you need 2 people to open. It's the weird one, but like there's one like it's got poison gas, and the tool you need is the gas mask. Now, if you don't have the gas mask, it's okay. You're not going to die or anything, but you need to get the player that has the gas mask has to then come disarm that trap, and then you can get the token. There's 4 tokens that are keys. There's 1 that electrocutes you. Does
that one kill you?
What? Nothing. Nobody dies in this game because it's a family game.
How much 500-pound weight falls on your head and you ain't dead?
No, it falls down, and then you got to have 2 players because the 2 children can lift up
500 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who gets sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like one of the keys.
Yeah. So the cards and how you move is there's 2 dice. There's this monster-sized D10.
Nice.
And there's this yellow die. The D10 you roll both of these at once. The D10 tells you how far you can move. So 1, 3, 5, 7 squares. And this yellow die, which has the numbers 0, 3, 5, 11, 7, and 8, is how far the cop and the dog can move. So there's a cop and a dog that are patrolling the area. Now they start off in they're terrible at their job. Okay. So they start off in their office and the dog is in the kennel. But if you roll the dog collar, the dog comes out. And if you roll the badge, the cop comes out. Okay. So this is how far this die represents how far that particular piece will move. Okay. So once they come out, you have to watch how far you move in order to avoid either getting caught by the cop or the dog. If you get caught, then you have to go to jail. And there's ways that
the dog owner would go to jail because leash law.
Yeah.
But so again, getting out of jail is reasonably easy because there's certain rooms that have
because of privilege.
It's a privilege, yes. Because again, remember we said
you get out of jail in less than 30 minutes. That's not too bad. I would do jail for 30 minutes.
It's not even that because your friend can go to a room and push a button and let you out of the jail.
Oh, sweet. This is
that takes time. That takes time.
White people jail. Got it.
Exactly. Now there's also a card that has the robot. The robot allows what you can do after you've moved, you can put one of your special equipment cards with the robot and have that robot take it to another player. So if you're in the room that you need the bug repellent because there's the crazy bees, and I have the bug repellent, I can do that and give it to you. So on your next turn, you can do the trap. Now the robot will also deactivate one of the traps as well. So you got to be careful. If you use the robot to deactivate that booby trap, the robot's gone. So you got to be.
This sounds
so
like
the robot can die at least.
Yes, the robot can die.
This sounds like somebody had a dream and then woke up and just wrote a bunch of stuff down. There was a robot. Oh, a robot too, huh? Okay.
It reminds me of a game that I played as a kid. Have you ever played the game Stop Thief?
Yes. Yes.
That had the electronic device.
Yeah, and you had to listen to the noises.
Yeah. Oh, he broke a window. Oh, he took steps. He opened a door.
Yeah.
Yes.
6 steps. Yeah. Oh, my sister and I were so good at that game. We had the whole thing. We could do it without the board even.
Yeah.
We had the whole board memorized. Now, again, this all sounds kind of crazy and chaotic, but the fact that it's timed and you never know how far, once the cop and the dog are out, you can't, like the cop, he's got a predetermined route that he has to go. So you have to kind of figure out, okay, if the cop sees you, you go to jail. So it's pure.
Oh, is it just line of sight?
Yeah, pure line of sight. So you have to move the full number that you roll. So you have to kind of plan which way am I going to move.
You start doing circles sometimes if you're in a safe spot.
You can't go back and forth though. You either got to go all one direction or all the other direction.
Oh.
But like sometimes if you roll like a high movement for you, and that's going to put you in line of sight to the cop, you got to go back the other way. But then you're not going toward the room you need to go to. So, but all this is going on while the damn timer is going on,
and it's beeping at you.
And it's beeping at you. And at 1 minute, it starts going beep, 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 and that's when it's so weird having that beeping noise just beeping down. Again, I think that's what makes it fun.
I would play this game, but I would need a trigger warning, and I'll tell you why. The beeping would remind me of a device my parents bought me when I was a bedwetter 2 weeks ago. That it had a sensor in my underwear that would detect voice.
Yeah.
And when it did, it would beep and wake me up to pee, but I would wake up all groggy and just grab it and crush it with my hand to make it stop. But then I'd fall asleep and my hand would loosen. That might flash me back to that situation, and it's the whole reason I'm kind of insane today.
You're grabbing your dick to make it stop?
No, there's a device on my shoulder that beeps.
Well, it's also weird because as a kid, you didn't really want to wear underwear. You thought,
Right.
I just want to go commando anyway.
Yeah.
There's that. Okay, I can see that. So we'll write in a trigger warning for Biran.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you collect the keys, you break the safe open.
You got to get all 4 players back to the safe.
Oh, so it's like a nuke thing where you got to turn your key. Everyone's
you got to
there.
put all 4. You physically got to put them in the safe and then turn it, and it will turn off the.
And if you don't do it in time, does it shock you a little bit?
No, that would be cool, but no.
Put your finger in there.
It does play. You get 2 songs. There's a victory song and then a losing song. But we've had it a few times where you got all 4 keys and you're waiting for one idiot to get back to the safe before you can do it. But the police and the dog and the cop are still there, and so this person's trying to get to the safe in time, and the other players still have to roll and move and all that stuff.
So we have to go do a dance and stuff while.
Can you distract the dog or the cop to?
So if you roll, there are 2 cards that are one use only that can send the cop or the dog back to their. Also, if the cop is out and you roll the cop badge, he goes back to his office. He forgets something and goes back to his office. So they can automatically just go back, but you can't count on that. Sure. And again, it's a D10, so it's a 1 in 10 chance, but
that seems like a pretty funny game though.
It sounds stupid, but because my friend, he brought it over and he borrowed it from a friend of his, and he goes, this sounds stupid, but it's fun. And he's explaining to me, I'm like, it sounds kind of stupid, but I'll give it a shot. And oh my God, once that timer hits and you gotta, the first couple of rounds, you're just like kind of moving around. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. And then you're just trying to go. And then I was always moving the cop because the faster the cop moves, then you can do because the cop always moves first. Oh, yeah. And then you get stuck in jail. Then someone's got to break you out. And
well, what a game to a family to bond over.
Yeah,
play a board game as a family and spend time with each other. So let's perform an illegal activity and run away from it. It seems like it definitely scratched a lot of itches there. Families get together, but the kids are happy because it's like their parents' version of Grand Theft Auto.
Is there a hot coffee mod for this game?
Right. There's no, you can't throw the hooker down the stairs, but you do have to distract the dog.
Exactly.
Very nice.
It is currently not for sale. This came out it's by Mattel, so that tells you something right there. It came out in early 2000s. You can still pick it up on eBay, and I was actually looking at it. You can pick up pieces for this too, because again, it's got, if you're missing a couple of the cards, that can be problematical. Obviously, the safety component.
It would have come out in 1985.
Yeah, it could very well. Well, actually, I thought it came out in the 90s. It just kind of has that 90s feel to it. But it was 2003. But yeah, it's a fun game. And you can actually, there's different levels too. So you got 30 minutes, that's the base game. Then there's 22 and 15. And I'll be honest, we've never beat it on 15. It's too much. So
some fast hands too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're just moving along as fast as you can. There's no talking, there's no whatever. And
nice. We would never do a full episode on that, but if we did,
oh god, no.
What rating would you give it, Mike?
I'd give it about 3.5. You can play it. It's fun. You can play it while you're drinking because that's a little fun too. But you don't need a lot of concentration. It's like I said, it's made for the ages 8+, so it's not complex. But the timer element is really what makes it fun.
Yeah, that sounds hilarious. Good choice. That's perfect choice for this kind of episode.
Oh yeah.
On to me to wrap it up. I found a kind of a fun game. Here's the box of it. Deathpath is what it's called. It's got kind of like a maze of some sort on it. And when you play it, I played it a few times. There's kind of simple rule book here. You're actually.
Is it a color rule book or is it black and white?
Yeah, it's color.
Oh, nice.
You're going through. They got a lot of dice in this game too, which some people like that. Some people, some people like a lot of components. Some people don't, because if you're going to spill it, you spill a lot. But you have these cards you flip over to go through the maze. So you're going through the maze, and other people you're playing with go through the maze as well. And you might end up running into each other and you fight. And it's kind of this whole like Running Man, I don't know, Hunger Games kind of rip off kind of thing there. But you're basically, and you turn a corner, someone might there to punch you as you turn the corner.
Is it more Hunger Games, aka young adult, or is it more Running Man, Stephen King?
No, it's more Running Man. It's this,
okay.
Kind of the typical whatever post-apocalyptic, everyone does this. But you're going through and you make it through and you survive to the end. The other person dies, of course. But what I love, when I first played it, I picked it up. I'm like, okay, someone told me about it. I saw something online. And I'm like, what do you just flip over cards? Like, so it's random. And you get to the bottom of the deck and you win. You make it out of the maze. And at my first thought, I was kind of scoffed at it. I'm like, this is kind of dumb, But then I realized that when you're coming across different stash, find different weapons and different things in there. I want to see if I can find some of these. Sometimes you've come across in the maze, like which way do I go? I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense because the maze isn't like just straight ahead. So what happens is when you get those, in this case, you could choose to keep going straight, keep flipping cards over with your opponent, kind of simultaneous actions, or you could choose to go left or right. And what happens then is you will take the deck and your opponent splits your deck however they want. They don't get to look at your cards, but they can either put in like a dead end of sort, they call it a path end in the game, or a secret path to find a certain, maybe a quicker way to the end. And so when you two kind of turn around, your opponent puts those in. They can put them both in one or one in each, and they put them in front of you. You then take one that's like your new maze deck. So you look at it, it's like, oh shit, like it's quicker path to the end. I'm going to win. I'm going to get closer to the end than you are. But if you come across this, you now end up having to grab the other deck and start over. It's like retracing your steps.
So it's sort of like another bluff mechanic for how they.
Definitely. Yeah, there's some of that because you could split it in a way where
this one's thin and you want it, but it's like,
right, you're not counting cards, but it's like, why would you give me a tiny deck? I'm going to win. Yeah, idiot, because I put this in there. Or did I? Maybe I put nothing in there. And so,
sort of like the scene in the Princess Bride.
Very much. You don't want to fight that land war in Asia.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well. What is really unique about the game, besides this split mechanic, is there's 5 of each of these in the deck. And there's 3 of the like choose any path, straight or left or right. And I think 2 of the, you're gonna go left or right. You have to split. So there's 5 total opportunities to split your deck. After the second one, you completely forgot which way you were going. Much like if you were in a maze and you're like, oh, I don't even know anymore. And it's not just luck out. You keep splitting and it keeps missing the path end cards. But sometimes it's just, you never know. As you're doing this, you might encounter the other subject, they're called in here, and you fight. You also might encounter pathfinders, which are like these robot constructs that are there to slow you down, all while people are watching this. So there's that Running Man game show elements of people are cheering on, watching, hoping you get to the end. As you grab new weapons, those are the different dice in the game. So Mike's game had the different, D10s, different numbers. This has the same kind of thing here where like this weapon, I believe that they call it a stun blade or something, has different numbers on it to represent the power of the weapon you roll. Whereas this D8, so the D8s are the one-handed weapons. So you can have one on one hand, one on another. Much like Biran said, put them on a card, which side of the card you're rolling each. And then the dice you're rolling are...
You should have to roll them in the hand that they're equipped in as well.
I think you should role play that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should roll.
And a two-handed weapon, you got to roll like this.
Right. And then like go, blah, like just kind of together. Yeah. Of course you do that. You have each character has a hit die and a crit die. So successes on a hit are 1 sword. Successes on a crit are 2. It generally does 2 more damage, hence the 1 to 3, but also they unlock abilities. All the characters, which I'll get into, they got things that unlock when you do crits or misses and hits and misses. And then you have your defense dice. You can dodge or block or disarm a weapon. So kind of cool because you have characters that have a certain class. So here's this guy. I don't know, this kind of ridiculous looking, this guy here. He is a brawler class, blue, and he's got blue dice that go with it. So this is Mutant Kime or something. Got a little write up here about him.
Got some sores.
Yeah, he's got sores. He's got giant nipples.
Aureolas too.
Yeah, look at those are pepperoni.
Those are. I bet you they get puffy, not just the tip of the nip, but the whole thing juts out.
Well, his trait is government indulgence. May use defense dice against pathfinders. Normally, you don't roll that, so he's good against those robots. There's no nipple rule in here. They wanted to keep it clean, I guess, but they've also got he's got the sick ability. When you roll a crit, you may instead treat as evade. So instead of doing extra damage, he is sick. He's getting some sick on you. And then defense ability, burning pustules. On a defense miss, when you roll a blank on the defense die, opponent takes -3 damage that cannot be blocked nor evaded. So he's getting some on you right there. So this game, the version I got, they called it the Ultimate 2-player set, has 32 characters, I guess. You got this chick here, like a former cheerleader kind of girl. You got this guy, bald guy, whatever. You got this, I don't know if it's like Mario or something, but whatever. You got
He
this
looks
guy.
Italian.
He's like a garbage man or something. This looks like Xtreme, actually. It's kind of funny.
Well, there's a lot of people who look like Xtreme as we found.
Kind of in
real life.
Here's like a dog man. It's like a dog and a space marine kind of thing there. So you have these different characters, and they all have 3 things. So they have their class, one of the 6. It's like militant and beefy and athlete. There's 6 of them total. I can't remember all of them. And then you also have sort of their 3 things. One always on trait. This guy Grognard.
He looks like the guy from Westworld. Yeah,
I saw that too. Yeah. I saw a lot of Westworld vibes. 1,000-yard stare, government trained, and veteran. And so I think he looks like a guy who does the reenactments of wars. Yeah. So he's tough in his own mind. Here's a cat, because why the fuck wouldn't you want a ninja cat in a game? Kind of cool. This guy actually looks like my friend Paul from way back when, like exact. Like it's not even funny.
A little bit of a dandy, maybe.
He is a dandy. So I did some research. You got hit points, got little counters here. Did some research, and the game's out of print now. It was like a Kickstarter kind of thing, but there are versions on eBay, like new, that they're selling. So if you search Deathpath on eBay, you can buy one on there. It's got really good ratings on Board Game Geek, so that's where I first saw it. A lot of cool stuff on there, but cool videos.
What did Vassal think of it on Dice Tower?
I don't know if he did this one. I don't think he. I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't have any little kids in it or anything.
I would like to see his opening where he just dumps the box out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want him to do that because I already did it just now. There are kids. Here's a little Middle Eastern boy for Biran.
Oh.
I can see you playing this guy.
Is he clean?
Is it Mustafa or Mustafa?
However you want to say it. Have him take his shoes off, Mikey. Is he clean?
He's clean. He could come in.
He's streetwise. He's got the juke ability.
He sells streetwise?
Yeah, well, maybe. That's the grown up. Oh, look at this one. This looks like Ronda Rousey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Man.
I think she's doing a little tuck.
Do you know she's now African American? Did you hear about that?
Is she?
You just found out she's black. I saw a funny joke online. It was
but is it like the 23andMe where we're all like 1% North?
I think 8th is the requirement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The joke was she's really happy because she can now sing every lyric to all the songs in her workout playlist.
That's right. She doesn't have to go, and you're my
right. Look at this slob I found in there.
It's with his right arm.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I know that's a
big burrito.
Maybe messed up. His arm's too big. Either that or I don't know. He jerks off too much. I don't know.
I think it's like Michelangelo's David sculpture. Where
this
the right
is
arm
hilarious.
is bigger.
Look at this first one. Burrito Lord. After killing a Pathfinder, a burrito appears.
That sounds awesome.
Funny stuff. So I played like 3 times. Pretty fun every time. It is one of those where it's really good for 2 players. There's a game mat too, by the way, in that set. If you look on eBay,
neoprene,
neoprene mat, yeah, mouse pad, plus for everything. You can play multiple player, but just know that I did it once. Everyone's going at the same time, so know that there's a few moments where it's like, hold on, don't flip that card over. We're all still doing a thing. Because other people are either healing or trying to make their way through while other stuff is going on. It is one of those where the more players you play, it does get a little, I don't know, what's the word? Not complex.
Chaotic?
Chaotic, I guess. There's just a lot of stuff going on at like 4 or more players. It's definitely doable. It really plays awesome at 2 and really fun at 3, though. Deathpath, pretty fun game. Any questions? I played 3 times.
If you brought this, would this be a game you get into?
No, I would say this is probably a game you keep with you, and you might just show up and let's play. Because the games could go as quick as 10, 15 minutes. They could be as long as 30 to 40. You just don't know. Like you said, Biran, the bluff thing is a real thing. Which path am I going to take when you come across that? Do I go left or right? And you grab that one that's short and you find out, guess I did the right thing. Or they did try to fuck you, but there was another split in there that lets you avoid that one. You can win this game in 5 minutes. I always think about like when I played Super Show, the wrestling game, which we covered. Like I've lost that game and won that game in like 2 minutes before. It's awesome when you win in 2 minutes. It sucks when you lose in 2 minutes. This game, you could actually find a secret passage to the end where you could win really quick. But most games give you about 20, 25 minutes.
If you
rate it?
How would I rate it?
Yeah, if this was an official rating, what would you give it? How many Zlurps?
I played 3 times and they were all a blast. So how could I not give it a 5?
Oh, the first KwikHitz 5?
Yeah. I mean, a KwikHitz 5 isn't really a 5, though.
It's like a Schomburg 5 from Xtreme.
Like, no one's writing it down. Are we?
No.
Okay. I mean, if every game has been like a blast, I want to play again. How do I not give it a 5? You know, I didn't see a flaw. You know, flawless without flaw. Xtreme, any questions?
No, nothing that comes to
Did
mind.
you ever play this? I know you. It takes a lot for you to, you know, mosey on and find a guy or gal to play with and just have some fun with. Would you play this
I
game?
like the idea of the flipping mechanic to get through the maze, and you're racing the other person you're playing. Seems really cool. So if you brought it, I would definitely play.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's like I look at the back. It's kind of like a comic book. Oh, that's like Bo Jackson guy. Was that guy? Like Bo Jackson guy. He does multiple sports. It's kind of got very much a comic book kind of flavor to it. Get out of the maze. So yeah, I think I'll bring that along. We get together sometime.
Do you know if they ever plan on doing novelizations of the game?
Probably not. I don't. I just if the game's out of print and I don't even like know what's going on with it, probably not. But you know,
We love our dead games.
fan fiction would be fun.
Yep.
So yeah, check it out. Again, there's the guy's selling a few on eBay. It's out there.
Do you know how much they are?
$59.99, but it is free shipping.
Which that's a beefy box for free
Yeah,
shipping.
is it?
It's all the characters and a play mat as well. So the box,
I know people have spent probably 300 on that game.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Kingdom Death level for sure.
Mhm.
You got enough to put the cards in one level and all the dice and other stuff in another one. Oh, the guy threw like a coin in there too. I'm gonna try to use that at like the next time I get some Doritos. I'm gonna try to
It's
use
like a
that.
challenge coin.
Yeah, you got to buy me a drink when I show it, one of those kind of deals.
Mhm.
Or it's like a LARP thing. Like you show me that coin, I show you mine.
And then our
Wherever-
decks come out.
I was actually thinking we would literally like wherever we're at becomes the maze.
Yeah.
You know, like if we were in a large big box department store, and that's when you try to say like, ah, what are you doing in Costco? And I'm like, coin, and we're like, "Rrrr."
You're at Crossroads, really? This looks like the Bagel Bite sample station to me.
Well, the employees are the pathfinders. You just fucking barrel right through them. You know.
You pick up a 80 pack of Charmin and clock someone with it.
Yeah, well, those are the weapons.
Yeah.
So the big Charmin thing would be a two-hander. You know, luge.
The one hander would be the 500 pack of Bic pens.
Right. What I would like to do is grab like the peanut butter pretzels, one in each hand, and just start fucking smashing people. So this would be a fun Costco LARP of a game. If they ever got that license, you know.
You don't get to say that very often with games.
You could LARP it at Costco.
You can LARP it at Costco. That's true. This and maybe if you still had a functioning laser tag, that's about it. Or whatever the paint version of laser tag was. Splat, I believe.
Gotcha.
That's right.
That was the one that Jim McMahon pimped.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I remember that now.
Instead
yeah.
of paint, they were like painted snot balls.
Well, it didn't go over well. Ditka did not like his players doing endorsements, although he was on 10 commercials
Yeah.
every time. He did not want them to do those. So anyway, yeah, pretty fun game. So covered Death Path. We covered break the safe.
Yep.
And we covered Strat-o-Matic, and we got Kingdom Death Monster or
Yes.
Kingdom Death : Monster.
I want to say
Why do I think
Kingdom
it's a
Death colon.
It is colon, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
And on that note, could you grab the lion's colon and make a weapon out of it?
They did model the balls on the miniature, but I don't know about the colon.
Okay. Can you throw testicles or no?
I would think it'd be like bolas.
Yeah,
You trip somebody up.
that's a good one. One of those. I like that. So very cool. Make sure to follow Zlurpcast at Zlurpcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe. This is kind of some cool art here. Looks like the guys in that game, doesn't it?
Weird.
It's weird. You can buy shirts that have the Zlurpcast logo. Who's got the logo above their head right now, Biran?
Xtreme does.
Okay, so Xtreme, could you like do one of these? Yeah, you can buy a shirt,
Other side, but close enough.
a mask. We're still wearing masks, I think. Some people are, and you could buy one of those with a logo on it. And we get a little bit of money when you buy those things. So you buy a shirt, we get a couple of bucks. You buy a set of coasters, which I did. I think I got maybe like 83 cents. It all goes to the fund. You know, that's how we get rich. Support the show. Obviously, subscribing, ringing that bell as well. Zlurp on that sub button. Goosh, goosh, goosh. Don't forget also, just want to throw this out there. In the description, there are working links. You may have had links that didn't work before. They look like links, but where do they take you? Dark web? I don't know. I got like weird like wingdings that came up in my thing there. That's not the case anymore. The links work. So click that, join the Zlurp Nation. You might get a random email with an extra video about burrito talk in there. You never know. You might get that. So check it out. Any closing words from you fellas?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Who has to pee here? Anyone?
I can always pee, even if I don't have to.
Yeah, that's good.
I got one of these in me, so yeah.
Wow, the whole thing.
It's close, yeah.
How'd you get it in you? Are you that
like
loose?
64 ounce or more?
This is 100 ounce.
Oh, 100. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, why is this big gulp? Wouldn't that be like massive, like when they have like the
Well, the
bigger-
standard big gulp is what, just 32 ounces, I think?
32 ounces, yeah. Yeah.
Who gets, first off, by the way, do they even sell gulps anymore?
Yes.
Really?
They're
Yeah,
like
there's a cup. The cup is cute. It's a
Right.
cute.
In America,
Oh.
that's the size of on Free Slurpee Day or Free
No,
Slurpee.
that's actually smaller. The free Slurpee cup is actually smaller.
Okay. Gulp. Nobody
Yeah.
gets a gulp. Big
we also
gulp.
don't go to 7-Eleven on free Slurpee Day because that's when the
Oh yeah.
masses are there.
And they're not putting their best flavors out either. I've worked at 7-Eleven.
Ugh, pineapple.
Yeah, right, exactly. Pina colada again? Yeah, again. But the gulp, the big gulp, the super big gulp, the double gulp, which was
Double
like
gulp.
a milk carton arrangement on top, right?
I remember those, the cups that made the top was a milk carton and you had the whole
Yeah,
straw.
you put the straw in, but it still was like a, do you
Yeah.
really do this?
And I think you could get sodas from Little Caesars that were like that too.
Okay.
You get to 2 pizza box and one of those.
So, Mike, you got that. Is that like can you go to 7-Eleven and pay less to refill it?
Yeah. Well, there's a refill price because usually most 7-Elevens they got the gulp, the big gulp, super, and the double gulp. Then they've got the refill under 52 ounces and over 52 ounces.
So you
Well, the
could
one
have a
I
bathtub
went
size one and it just paid the same.
Yeah. Well, this was $10. You get a refill for free, and then every time I go back, I have to. It depends who's working. The one I used to go to pre-COVID, they would fill this for 99 cents because I knew the guys. So
Wait, how do you get one for free? How are they going to know that's your free one?
because you're buying it.
So
Oh.
the first fill up's free,
Oh.
not a refill.
So you get a fill.
But
not
here's
a-
the thing: are you supposed to drink right out of those cups when they're manufactured? Shouldn't you wash them first?
You should.
But there's enough
You-
chemicals in
You
Diet
guys
Coke. to
watch
take-
this ever?
I mean,
Seriously.
they always say like cops carry like Coke 2 liters to get blood off sidewalks. I mean, we don't know what the fuck's going in our stomach these days. I think you're pretty safe. Mike, you've made it this far drinking
Yeah.
those daily.
I mean, look at all the shit inside the straw right here. So you know
is that like leaving crust?
That looks
on-
dirtier than an amateur anal bead.
exactly.
Oh, Zlurpcast anal beats, by the way. We should probably work on that.
Yeah, we
You
should.
get to have our faces on each one.
Based on
pull
each
out.
one.
Oh yeah, like, oh dude, we got to extreme level. Like, oh. I would say though, we're gonna get them made on the cheap, and they might like come off.
Snap off in there.
Yeah,
They're made of really shitty resin.
yeah, you would lose extreme all the way up in there. You'll never poop them out. You might throw them up before you poop them out. Just
Or
saying.
you forget he's in there, and then you'll have a really powerful sneeze. And it'll come flying out.
Do you think you could ever? Mike, you know the biology of this. Could you ever, if there were Zlurpcast anal beads, could one ever pass those out the front? If they went in the back?
No.
I don't think the pipes are connected that way.
No.
You
You,
don't
mean
ever-
pee it out?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't want to be so vulgar to say pee it out. I said pass it. You said
No.
pee it out. That's gross.
You'd have to put it actually in the bladder. So it's got to go in the same hole. They're not connected.
No way. So
You'd have to go all the way back to the
Correct
stomach.
me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time for me covering this in health class. Anus, rectum, large intestine, small intestine. It's already past the bladder at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
It's
not
like,
connected at all.
It's like, are we going to get a chance to stop at Mars Cheese Castle? No, we've already crossed the border.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We missed the exit.
Right, we missed the exit. We've missed Bong Recreation Area. It's gone.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it would ever, much like in the death path, if that marble would ever make its way.
No. No. It would come out your mouth before it would come out your people.
Them's good eating.
Yeah.
I bet the extreme one. The extreme one tastes better than us too, which is weird.
Oh, and I talked to Todd about picking up the new Warhammer Quest. And he's like, oh, I would sponsor you. I go, not after this bit, you're not.
No, I'm against from this.
Oh, I am too. I just thought it was funny that we wait till the end and we get this in there just for Todd.
Yeah, I don't want sponsorships because then you are partly responsible for what you say. And it's like, no.
Well, and Todd knows that I will just do whatever I want anyway, so he should know better to even ask. So
right. Happy to buy one.
Yeah. Happy to support my friendly local game store.
So if you've watched this long, feel free to keep watching because there's only about a minute left, I believe, that we have. And in that minute, we'll say that we are going to do some new stuff. As you saw last week's episode, we're going to do more game reviews. We're going to do more bullshit kind of hobby-esque or game club con-centric things. I also think we're going to do more quick hits. We might do kind of like a game versus game and have them battle it out, almost like a Fight Club kind of thing. We're going to do some unboxings of games.
Maybe some guests, more guests.
We might do some virtual playthroughs, actually playing games, ones that some are easier than others to do via this medium. But a lot of stuff we got in store for this season. I cannot wait to move on to episode 52, right? That's the next one. We're not doing numbering, but that's the next one. So yeah, very nice. I'm glad we got the anal bead discussion in there. I was hoping we got that in. It was on my notes to make sure we get that in. So literally. We'll see everyone next week. Bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it.